I'm a music artist from Bristol, and I make pop with a Chinese twist because I'm half Chinese.
What inspires you to become a musical artist?
So I've been making music sort of all my life, on and off. When I was 7, I wrote my first song about my doll. It's called Baby Anna, and I could sing it to you now, but I won't put you through that. So I was always music was always a way that I was just expressing my feelings and expressing what I saw around me. But it was very now and again rather than every day. And then when I was in school, I used to do a lot of plays and concerts, but always singing someone else's song. And now and again, I'd write my own about something. But it wasn't until after I came back from uni and I had my daughter, and I was feeling a bit I think it was X Factor or something was coming out, and everyone was loving it, and I wasn't. I was why do I hate on X Factor so much? And I realised it was because I was feeling wasn't letting out my musical side. I was had got too involved in the academics and stuff, and I'd always wanted to do music studies, but my parents were always you've got to do a realistic job. So yeah, when I came back, and then I moved closer to my cousin who loves singing and rapping, and we basically started this duo. Long story short, we got a grant, we recorded an album, got to 90% of the way done, and then the studio folded, and we had to try and get our music back and the money back. Long story short, no joy. And I just felt really gutted for ages. And then, it felt like ages, but maybe it was a year. And then I was feeling really oh, this is over now, my music life is over, I should just give up on it. And not really thinking about the fact that it's music for yourself. It doesn't matter about achievement. I didn't realise that bit at the time. And so again, I went back to feeling not expressing myself, not feeling right, and not feeling 100%, always feeling something was missing. And then I was working at Norwest Media Centre, and they started a new music project, got a new building, and got a new music studio. And these rappers started coming in, and they were oh, we need a singer on the hook. And the guy was oh yeah, the girl upstairs in the office, she used to sing, I'm sure, maybe she'll do it. And I came down on myself, and they were whoa, you have to do this, why don't you sing anymore? And I told them the whole story I just told you guys, and they're that's it, you're coming out with us. Long story short, sang on loads of people's tracks as a feature artist. Then I started, they were let me hear your stuff, and I'm oh, it's not very hip hop, it's really girly and piano. And I shared it with them, and they're oh no, you should do more, you should do more. Long story short again, over a few years, I basically started creating my own artist, my own sound sort of thing, rather than just being a feature and helping other people out. And that was probably about 10 years ago that I started that whole this girl can sing on your track, to 7 years ago, I think, releasing my own single video. And then I think a few years ago, I rebranded my name and shortened it. And yeah, I've just been doing that ever since. I remember there was this day in the studio where I was with a girl, and we were oh, what should we do? When you need a little break in the studio for making music? And then we both started getting chatting what we're into, and I started telling her about how I love watching kung fu movies and watching fighting scenes. So we picked some ones we both liked and started watching them, and I remembered how much I loved the Chinese instrumentation in the background of a fight scene. When you hear a flute or the string instrument, if you've watched Kung Fu Hustle or anything. And I was just mesmerised, and I was I need to put this in my music. And we went, looked in the sound bank of what we were using, and it had this thing called Asian sounds or Chinese sounds, and I was so we all was getting really excited. Long story short, I made this song called Canton Hop that was a mix between Cantonese, which is Canton is south of China, and Hong Kong, which is where my dad's from, and then hop, which is the hip hop. So I made that song, and after everyone's heard it, they were that's your sound, and I was yeah. And I just made a video that was all kind of had a bit of East Asian influence in it. Filmed it in my street, but there were this scene where I had a cloak and this Chinese ornament, and I was pretending to do magic with it. So I've always really been into magic and mystery and stuff. And then it just evolved from there. And then it kind of went, I think, from where obviously I'd been influenced a lot by the rappers that I was singing with. My sound was very much more even though I was singing, it was very influenced by hip hop and then then later grime.
Yeah.
I got really into dubstep. But as the years have gone on, I've kind of gone back to my roots, which as a child, I just listened to pop music. Like my parents weren't really like music fans, so all I heard was like the main artists and the main icons. I didn't really hear any underground stuff till I went to uni. So somehow I feel like at the end of it all, I've kind of got a bit of a mix of like pop influence, being a bit arty and experimental, and kind of having that urban influence. And somehow I kind of, and then that Chinese music and kung fu fighting scenes, like all kind of merging together. So in answer to your question, my like just what inspires me is like just everything and anything, like my feelings, what's going on, things that I see, things that I love, my life, my journey. And right now what's inspiring my writing, up until this stage, it's always been like quite personal, like what I feel about a situation, or like if I got a close friend and I see something they go through, and I kind of write about it, imagining, because I'm kind of feeling for them, so I'm kind of writing it as if, oh, you can't write a song, I'm going to write it for you, sort of thing, but not tell anyone that it's like their song, because that would be embarrassing for them. But and then but now I've just started like thinking, well, it's all about me. I've always felt weird promoting my music. It feels very like, look at me, look what I've done, and I've always ironically not like that. And so I was like, how can I get over this? And partly that's been like writing about stuff I see in the world. So like my latest single, Breathe Again, is about the pandemic, but I actually got a lot of writing from comments on Facebook. So I asked people to like share their thoughts and feelings, so I could express something that was like bigger than me, and not just from my perspective, but kind of like put my feel on it all and translate it into something that was more song. So that's kind of like where I'm at now and what's inspiring me, and I'm just trying to like go with the flow and not care about, achieving anything. Like for me now, it's just like living music as every moment that I can, and just making art that I'm proud of, and that hopefully one day might matter to someone. Even if one person like messages me and says, oh, I really love this song, I'm like, that was worth it. If one other person finds like value in this, then it wasn't just for me.
How has being Chinese influenced or affected your music?
So there's kind of two parts to that question. So like, the first part is I think at the beginning it held me back culturally. If you know many Chinese people, like, they might like teach their child to like play violin every day or whatever, but they're not like music is your job. They're like it's just like
it's
a thing.
Another skill that you
it's got your CV to get into uni or whatever. So I think like culturally it wasn't accepted and was very much like
your dreamer type. That's not going to wield any results.
But looking back, I don't regret anything, because like if they hadn't, I don't think I'd make the music now that I do now. I think it would have been quite embarrassing. The music. So when I was at college, I kind of came to a deal with my parents. I wanted to do like music, and they were like, no. So I did English language and communication, because it was like as creative and writing. It was like near songwriting. And then in the second year, I was like, no, I want to do music. And so I think they let me do like an MVQ performance. And like I don't think actually MVQ should be seen as like something secondary to A-levels. It's just a different way. But to them, and especially in them days, they were like, oh yeah, that's just for fun. I definitely don't think that, but because it was performance music as well. Because I can read music, but like very slowly, like screwing my eyes up. Like I'm not like a sight reader or anything. So because it was performance, it was just about performing music with the group. So someone played guitar, someone played drums, and I sing. And so that kind of satisfied that for a year until I went to uni, and then it was all about like I did multimedia journalism. I forgot what the question was.
So the second part of the question.
Oh, Chinese. So but I don't regret it, because like it gave me all my life experiences. My life could have gone completely differently. Like I could have just ended up, I don't know, like the person I am and the things that I've experienced lead me to write the music I do now. Whereas if I'd been like really more focused on my music younger, it might have been a very different story. If I hadn't gone to that uni, I don't think I would have had my daughter. Like my whole life would be so different. Yeah, I think it's made me a better person, like who I am, what I've done. I'm scared to think what kind of, person I would be. And then in terms of like the culture and the music, so from that moment where I was like watching Kung Fu clips with a friend, realised I wanted to put those sounds in my music, and I wrote that first song, Canton Hop. Like after that, I'd always felt a bit disconnected to my culture because I didn't have a large Chinese family. My English family, like my mum was one of 10, my dad was one of 2, and they'd immigrated here, so the rest of their wider family, like cousins and everything, further away. So I went to like Chinese New Year events in Bristol and stuff, and sometimes London, but it was very few and far between. We ate a lot of Chinese food, but other than that, yeah, it was actually through my music and my art that I suddenly realised I got to explore my culture a bit more. So I'd write songs about like Chinese legend stories. Like there was this, I found out about this love story, and then I wrote a song about that, and you wouldn't know it was about that. It was called When I'm With You, but it was about this couple that couldn't be together. There was it probably like was a metaphor for something, but I can't remember. So I started exploring that. So that my art, my videos, it was all part of that was like learning something about Chinese culture, and it's been a way to connect with it, and that's been so great for me. And I feel like I've finished that journey now. I mean, maybe not finished, but like that's not like the main focus now, and that's just there, and it's just part of what I do now. It's not like I have to make an effort to do that. That's just part of my process. And now I'm really just like, I've got my sound, and now it's like, what can I do that like adds value to the world?
So what is next for you musically and personally? What's next for your journey? What can people expect from you in 2021?
Well, I just feel different. Like I don't know anyone else who's felt in lockdown. Like don't get me wrong. Like I know people that have not had a good time, and I don't want to like rub their noses in it. But like I've had this amazing time or anything, but through like being, I used to be out and about a lot on the scene, like I love listening to live like underground music and like supporting my city, so I would go out once or twice a week to like local gigs and just like support and take our friends. It was a way to socialise. So when lockdown happened, like all that networking and taking in live music scene, that just all went, and I think it made me stop and like really focus. I started doing like yoga, going back to meditation. I started like just spending a lot more time like back on my piano, just writing and thinking, and I feel like I've nearly finished this new album. I set myself a challenge. I had all this like music and these ideas, and I set myself this challenge to write an album in 3 months, write and record an album in 3 months. And then I thought, I better not do that, that's too hard. And I was like, no, don't be a chicken. So I did that, and it's the best work I've ever written. And people who have heard it have said the same. It is a slight transition. It's definitely like way better than anything I've written in mine and other people's opinions, because I feel like I've just let go of like trying to be something. Like, I want to make this song sound like this and be cool, or work really well on stage with like the bass and the drum. And I was always thinking, like overthinking it, and like now it's just like flowing, and it feels easy, and it's not like, right, today I need to make this song. Like I just go and I just do what I feel like. Some days that might be like just brainstorming ideas, sometimes that might be writing, sometimes it might be like recording a couple of songs that I wrote the week before and then seeing which ones like hold some weight to be a release. And then I've also started doing like writing songs for other people. So I think like if someone like, I don't know how to say it without being like, so like say if you want to give a gift to someone and you wanted it to be like really personal, then you could have me write a song about them, but I would listen to your story and find out all about this person, and then I'd be like, okay, do you want it to be like a ballad, do you want it to be like fun, poppy, do you want it to be like hip hop, and then I just like write a song for them. So they got this bespoke little gift, and I just do my best to like work within whatever budget is needed. I started doing, because everyone comments on like how Bristolian I chat, I started doing like Bristolian voiceovers and like public speaking on panels about stuff, but often when they want like a like a Brazilian kind of person that represents Brazilian. Sometimes it's because they want someone who's Chinese, or because they want someone who's doing music or art or whatever. And I'm still doing community work, but I have like gone to part-time in the last few years. I'm now working at the community centre down the road from the media centre where I used to be, and kind of working with the team that was already there and growing the team and getting in funding and new people. And I've realised that the skill of like writing and expressing myself and sharing like stories has actually helped me, I think, be good at writing funding bits somehow. And because I'm so close to my music and I'm really feeling it, not my music, sorry, my community, I somehow get to like share that story. So I've done like either presenting to a panel or you have to write it down, and somehow all of that's come together to mean that I've been able to use those transferable skills, as they say in the work world, to like help my community centre, and that means the world to me. And like it is a paid job, but it's great to be paid for something that I feel is like part of that help making the world a better place.
Adds value.
And also been starting up creative projects and getting creative funding, and then having money that I can actually like give out to community creative people who like need the budget to do something. So we're doing these small grants rounds with the local Northwest Alliance as well. So that's been like really fulfilling. But I do struggle because it's so meaningful. I won't be like, oh, today's my music day. Like if I get a call and it's important, I'll take it because I care about that as well. And about a year ago, I was in the case where I was like, felt like they were battling each other, and I was like, oh, I don't know what I want. And now I'm just like, just go with the flow, like, just like, if the community needs you, do that today. Got a day off to do some music, do that today. And I'm like, eventually, the ideal scenario would be like, obviously, I want to make the best music art. Like, I want to do that, and if that means getting loads of income for that, then to me that means I can like volunteer for the community and no one needs to pay me to do that work anymore. Like that would be amazing. I'd still do that work. I say if I, won the lottery, I say this in work, I say if I, everyone's like, oh, what do you do if you win the lottery? And I was like, I'll be back here tomorrow morning. So yeah, it's been weird, like always feeling like those two things were battling, and now I've just been like, no, they're not. They can be together. Like both of them are part of who you are. And I realised lately, like, when I was a kid, I spent my time either, like, singing, writing a song, performing in a choir, performing in an orchestra, or making, like, a dance performance, or, like a fake music video or whatever. There wasn't actually any way to record it, but, like, in front of a mirror or whatever, a dance routine, teaching all your cousins. But I'll be the singer, you dance in the background, like... or like doing charity fundraisers, so like going everyone let's dress up today and take buckets to save the rainforest. I was that person, and I'm still that person now. That's what I've realised.
What would you say to any upcoming artists right now? What advice would you give to anyone looking to start a career in music?
So I see a lot of the mistakes that I made along the way, and where I am now. And I don't know if just telling you or them you can truly take it in as a summary, but if anyone's feeling slightly what I'm saying, then look me up and we'll have a little chat for sure. But it's like, I got some really good advice this year, and I've tried, and I won't say I've tried, I have been following it. Because there's so many people that are like, oh, how do I get a manager? I want to get a manager. I want to get a gig. I want to get noticed. I want to get this. And I was always like mission, goals, statements, vision board. And I just let go of all of that, because what I realised, we was in this like creative group session, and what we all realised is whatever goal you set yourself that's about somebody else giving it to you, like, we're gonna play your song on our show, we're gonna give you this award or whatever. It's all external, and as soon as you get it, you want something else. Don't actually make you happy. You think it does, trying to try towards it, and then you get there, and then you feel a bit of a lull. Oh, that didn't feel as good as I thought. And then you set yourself another goal, and you're just always chasing. So long story short, to answer, it's like, best advice I got lately was, just make a great album, make a great show, and everything else will follow. And that's what I've been doing now. I've stopped being like, oh, I want to get on this and I want to get on that. And some of my things that are goals I did achieve and some of them I didn't. And now looking back, I'm never going to achieve them because like certain shows I wanted to be on, I'm like, well, I'm not even making music that they would play now, so that goal doesn't even make any sense anymore. Just letting go of it all. It's like, I had a friend who I was doing music with for years, and he gave up music, and he said he just felt this weight off his shoulder, and I like he was so much happier, and I knew what he meant, and I knew that I wanted to feel that release, but I knew that I couldn't stop music, and it was like part of my life, whereas I think he'd felt that like he was surrounded by other musicians, so he wanted to do that. So, yeah, I thought about that for a while, and I might give up for like a week, and then have a really relaxing week, go, oh, that was nice, I don't have to do music anymore, and then go, nah, I need to write a song, and be back into it. But it was, yeah, just by just letting go of like, the pressure of like trying to be recognised and appreciated and valued by others. If you can let go of that and just enjoy making music, then it's just beautiful. And I see people who naturally do that and who haven't had to go through like, oh, I'm terrible, I'm rubbish, no one likes me for years and feeling like you're not good enough. Some people just didn't go through that, and I see, maybe they do behind closed doors, but they naturally know that. They're the people that say, I just do it for the love. And they're usually the people that soar because, yeah, the universe loves nothing more than people who just like live joy and do what they love and don't worry about anyone else. Well, not in a horrible way, but
creatively.
Yeah, so yeah, just let go of like the need to feel like you need to achieve certain things or you need to be recognised by someone, and just make music that you're proud of and that you love in a way, and spend your time doing what you love, and it will follow. It feels good to be in that space now, just to trust and not feel like I'm not going to try and control. My friend said to me the other day, I took me a while to take it in, he said, something like, it's a saying, if you tell God your plans, he'll laugh at you. Have you heard that? I hadn't heard of it before. And I was like, oh yeah, I think that's what it is, you know, because there's other plans for you, you can't control that, you just got to live. Your urge to make music is a message to what you're meant to give to the world. Just do that, don't worry about awards and...
So if people want to contact you or find your music or just speak to you, where can they do that?
So pretty much on like most main social media, so like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you just spell my name, which is Kala and then a space CHNG, and my website is spelled like that, kalachung.com, KALACHNG, and it's got all those links there.
Thank you very much for your time today. You heard it here first. Real Recognize Rrrtv, Kayla Chung.